We will go ahead and get started. Matthew, if you can let people in joining from the webinar, from the waiting room, I'm going to get started. Okay, this webinar, again, this is about the third time we've done this webinar. So if you've joined previously, great. Go ahead and join again because that's never too many times you can get this information. We are going to talk about a number of things with this webinar. All right, so we're going to start with this slide. This is the one I've tried to create so to guide you what you need to do. If you see everything in pink is for all of our undergraduate students. Anything in yellow, sorry, no yellow, orange are the graduate students. If it's in green, it's for everyone to do. So there are some things that the grads do not need to do. There are things that everyone needs to do. So as I go through the webinar, I will try to remember to mention, sorry, if you're an exchange, you don't need to do this. If you're a grad, you don't need to do this. But the color coding, try to remember this slide. Pay attention if this is something that you need to do or not. So placement testing, English survey, all of our undergrads need to do. Our grads and our exchange students, if you're on the call, do not need to do. Immunizations and housing, everyone needs to think about this, depending if you are going to be on campus or off campus. Immunizations, everyone is expected to do this. They will drop your on-campus classes if you do not have your immunizations into the health services. And so this is important to make sure you remember. It's kind of those back end issues and things that happen that you need to do, but it's not forefront in like registration and other things. Customs is only for our undergraduate students. I need to move my bar because I can't see. International orientation, everyone needs to do. This is required, especially if you were on a J or you were on an F visa. You must do international orientation. If you are coming on an F1 academic student visa, you now have a hold on your account. And if you do not do the orientation, the hold will stay and prevent you from making any changes to your schedule after August 20th. Orientation week, everyone, we'd like to join this. This is our special group, a special week. This is when we're having airport pickup. This is when we're doing our workshops to get you acclimated to MTSU, what it means to be a student. Employment, that's for everyone. We're going to talk about it just briefly because I don't want to get a lot of information. And graduate assistantship, again, just for our graduate students, we're going to touch on this very briefly. Okay, so student accounts, some of you have told me you don't have, or you've tried to do your immunizations and you can't. If you don't have your student account set up, you will not be able to do anything. So your student accounts are your MTSU email and your pipeline account. The pipeline account is extremely important after you come to MTSU. But if you can get these accounts set up now, it will make it easier. You will continually be getting information from the university. Here from our office, we do send to your personal and your MTSU email. Your advisors will only use your MTSU email. So you have to have these set up. You need to be checking them, find a system and a pattern or a habit of checking your MTSU email to make sure you're not missing important information. So there is a link. I'm going to give it to you in a second about getting these set up. Yes, let's go on. So this link, and again, this leads to the ITD. If you want to take the link, it's recorded. If you go to the MTSU website and you go to ITD, the technology department, they have one area dedicated to take you through the steps of setting up your MTSU accounts. So it's with your M number. If you don't know your M number, that's the first thing. If you have been admitted to the university, your M number is on that very first email you got from us when you sent in your application. In that letter, it's in two places. It's at the top, but it's also in red in the first paragraph. So both of those places you can find your M number. So if you have accidentally done an undergraduate app and you got a domestic app, they also have the M number in that first email that you get. So if you didn't get that email or you don't think you got that email, check your spam folder because sometimes the first email comes to the spam folder. The other thing to check is that make sure you gave us the correct email. If you on your application, the email is incorrect, then we have no way to know that. And so this is why you're probably not getting the emails. Okay, the placement test, this part is just for our undergraduate students. If you are an exchange student or a graduate student, pay attention, but you don't need to do these next two steps. The placement test is the test that the university requires of all incoming students, not just our international students. Everybody is expected to do the placement test. If you have SAT or ACT scores, please send those to us. If you have the scores in your account, you do not need to take the placement test. Sending us the scores yourself, we will not accept those. That means they're not official. You must ask the testing service, usually College Board, to send those results to us. They will come in a tape to domestic admissions. Domestic admissions needs to match those with your application. So if you used a different name or you had your middle name with your first name, they may not match. And if that happens, we need to manually go look for your score. So that takes time. So it's important to make sure that you use your name the same as it is on your passport, first name, last name. Middle name's usually included with your first name. Don't put it all on one line. We will not be able to find your application if you do that. Okay, so you need to have your placement test. This email I sent out twice now. If you've been recently admitted, I will have to send it again to you. This is going to get you started. The first thing you're going to do with the placement test is do a form. It says check to make sure that you have the internet capability to finish the test. So if you start the placement test and your internet goes out or it becomes weak or a little bit glitchy, the test will stop and they will tell you you have to wait until you come to campus to take the test. So you need to make sure that number one, you have the internet capabilities, and that first checklist is what you're going to do. So you're going to complete the checklist and you're going to return it to the email that's on the checklist. Okay, not to me. You're returning it, the university department that runs the placement test is University College. As you go through the checklist, you're going to be asked for a name. There are 3 names. Any one of those names you can use as your contact person. If you remember and you get to this point, try to use Laura. She is basically our contact person. You won't find any of our names on the form because we are not in the people responsible for the test. So once you get to that point, you really need to follow directions. There are several steps to this. Most of this we do not see because we are not students, so I don't really know what it looks like on the inside. You'll have to figure out that. And if you have questions, please contact University College. There is contact information on the form as you go through it. They're very, very happy to answer your questions, and they know this so much better than we do. The second thing you'll need to do is an English survey, and this is for our international students. The English survey is what's placing you at the English level. And so here at MTSU, we do not try to place you in the same English class that all the Americans are taking. It is simply too difficult. So we have different levels. So this English survey will place you at the appropriate English level so you can work your way up to the same class that all of the Americans take. The placement test is for reading and math. So if you're a transfer from a university here in the United States and you have algebra and you have a composition course, I will waive you from the placement test. If you do not, you will have to take the placement test. Here at MTSU, we teach reading, but we teach reading in conjunction with American history. And so it is one of the most difficult classes you take, and it's often one of the first classes you take. So you're doing a lot of reading and you're reading American history. It is dry. It is not very interesting unless you're a history buff. So I would recommend you do a little bit of review of American history so you're not getting the reading challenge and along with the history challenge of dates and people and names and geography and all of that stuff that comes with history. So it's important to make sure that the reading, this is why we do the reading. This is why I warn you that this is the most difficult class you will take as an undergraduate, is that the reading course. So do a little bit of history, research, YouTube, watch videos, whatever, just kind of get a little bit more information in your brain. So when you come, it's not completely new. Okay, again, the placement test is required of all incoming undergraduate students. J1 exchange students are exempt. So we have a couple of groups of exchange students. You do not need to take this. If you are a transfer student from a university in the United States, you may or may not be exempt. That's a case-by-case basis. If you have ACT or SAT scores, again, you need to have those scores sent by the testing service or your university, one of the two, or your high school, one of the two, and to our campus. If you send them to us, it does not count. So do not send me a PDF. Here are my ACT scores. Exempt me from the placement test. I cannot. It has to be by University College. They are the only ones able to exempt you. Okay, again, the placement test is reading and math. It places you at the correct levels of those two subjects. You will not be able to schedule your classes until you have taken the placement test. So we're going to talk about customs in a minute. The first customs session is coming up on Monday. So if you have signed up for customs on June 10th, but you have not taken the placement test, you need to do that this weekend. Because if your advisor sees that you're on the list to be advised on Monday, but you do not have the placement test finished, the advisor will cancel your appointment. That they cannot advise you if you have not taken the placement test. Okay, so again, the review, you're going to use that link that it's in the email that I send. Once you've clicked the link and you've taken the survey to make sure you do have the internet capabilities, you will need to complete the test at that point. If they determine you don't have the capabilities, then you'll need to wait until you come to the university, and that's fine. A lot of our students do that. Actually, if you wait until you come to the university, you only pay one fee. If you're doing it online, you need to pay two fees. One fee goes to MTSU, one fee goes to Examity to proctor the test for us. When you have taken the test, your results are sent to your academic advisor so they can adjust and put you in the classes they need to put you in. The English survey, that you will actually get the recommendation soon after the survey. If you take it on a Monday, you won't get the results until, if you take it on a Friday, you won't get the results until Monday. Typically, we do not work on the weekends, and so the staff needs time out of the office with their families, and so we do not expect the staff to respond to emails late Friday or Saturday or Sunday until Monday. So keep that in mind. If you email us late Friday, we will not respond until Monday. Okay, and again, I keep saying the same thing, huh? So you're going to get, when you take pass your little quiz, you're going to get a voucher. And this is why it's important to keep track of this email, because if you miss it, if you don't respond to the voucher, if you don't answer the email, nothing's going to happen. No one's going to send another reminder to you. You need to be responsible to make sure you're following the email and taking the steps that need to be taken. So again, two different fees. One goes to MTSU, one goes to Examity, the testing service. You need to pay one fee first, then you're going to be given an area where you can schedule your test, and then you're going to pay the second fee. Your results will be sent to your academic advisor. They will place you in the correct reading and math classes. Again, if you've signed up for customs on Monday, you need to get this done if you haven't done so already. The English survey is relatively simple. This is just a self-proctored answer questions. You're just going to answer very honestly. And again, you don't want to inflate your English ability. That will do more harm than good. You will be placed at the higher English level. And if you are already taking the history class and you have your English class and you're inflated your ability to speak English, you're going to be struggling your first semester. So you don't want to be struggling in your classes at the same time you're trying to get through the difference of language, the difference of culture, the difference of food. You're not living with your parents. You have to do your own laundry. All of this all the things are things you have to deal with that first few weeks and months of school. You don't want to be struggling with everything at the same time. So take your test, answer honestly, don't study for these things. We want to know where you are at this moment in time. We don't want to know where you will be 6 months from now. I need to know now. So take the test. When you take this, you're going to be given the results soon after you've taken the test. Okay, customs. So customs, our first one is coming up on Monday. Some of the advisors have already been reaching out to you. I've been getting emails from advisors saying the student is not responding. We don't know if they're coming. They haven't taken the placement test. And so they are also asking you. If you don't respond, they will ask me what's going on with the student. I don't know if he's coming. So the customs is a full day event. Generally in the morning, you will be taking a slide presentation, and then in the afternoon, you will be given a Zoom link to meet with your advisor. Again, if you're not on your email and you don't get that link, your advisor will not wait around for you. If you miss it, it's up to you to reschedule. So signing up for customs is a little bit tricky. You're going to be signing up, okay? You're going to sign up for the July 30th session. This is not your date, okay? This is just an internal place that we have set up that all of our international students are going to do the same thing. And then individually, you're going to check. There's going to be a Google form where you will actually then decide, do I want June 10th, July 15th, or August 6th? But when you're asking at the very beginning, when you go to your pipeline, and they're asking you which date do you want to attend customs, you have to choose the July 30th session. Okay, on the Google form that you get, there's a link to a Google form. Then you will decide June 10th, July 15th, or August 6th. If you skip this step, they don't know you're coming. Okay, you have to have that Google form has to be submitted. This is what we're doing here is putting you in what we call a virtual transfer session. This is for anybody who can't come to campus. So right now, none of you, unless you are on a different visa, can come to campus because you're not allowed to enter until 30 days before the start of classes. So this is our procedure. It's strange, but this is how the only way the placement office or the customs office can do this. You're going to have to pay a fee. Okay, the fee you're going to pay the full amount, and then you're going to be refunded some of that amount. So this all happens on the same day. All of your appointments with your advisors are going to be Central Time. So this is not, they're not going to adjust the meeting times, your appointments, to fit your schedule. The advisors are only in the office from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day. They're not taking any appointments until 9 a.m. And so all of your appointments will be put into this time zone, Central Time. Here in Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, everything is centered here. So you're going to have to make the adjustment, whatever time it is for you, you have to be available. Okay, again, when I send this email, and if you already have the email, you need to read the entire email. You read it once, read it again, and then find out what your steps are. Okay, you first need to decide my date. What date do I want to attend customs? The actual customs date. Monday, I'm thinking is probably full. Maybe I really don't know. July 15th or August 6th. You need to know this. Then you need to go to the Google form. Remember, you've already signed up for the June 30th date. On the Google form, you decide which one of these 3 dates you want. When you've done that, yeah, you're going to sign up on customs. Go to your pipeline, go to customs, so you know, okay, I'm going to sign up for July 30th, but I really want to attend on August 6th. Keep that in mind. August 6th goes on the Google form. On your pipeline, you're putting July 30th, you sign up. Follow all of the procedures. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're responding. They will send Google forms. They will send questions. Did you mean this date? We didn't have the Google form. You didn't complete the Google form. If you missed a step, they will communicate with you. If you're not responding, they will either think you're not interested or they will come to me. If I ask you, I know they have already reached out to you. I know they have. And so you need to make sure that you're on your email, you're checking and you're responding to them when they send you a question. They know this better than we do. Okay, after you've filled out your little Google form, you've like saved a spot, but you're really not finished. They're going to send you an email from the customs office and they're going to give you the date of the virtual customs. They're going to send you the link that you need. Okay, they're also going to be communicating with your advisor. This person has set for this date. They're supposed to be on customs on August 6th, but they haven't taken the placement test. They haven't responded to our office. So your advisor will be emailing me, asking me what's going on. The customs office is emailing me saying the student hasn't responded, and I will email you and say, you've got to respond. You have to answer these people because they are here to help you. So make sure that you're responding to them. And again, all of these appointments, all of these customs, the time zone here in Central Time in Murfreesboro, they are not set to your time zone. Okay, again, we're going to repeat it for about the 3rd time. Follow all of the steps that are in the email. If you have difficulty, reach out to the customs office. They are very happy to help you. This is about the 4th or 5th time we've done this procedure, so they know on their end what's going on. If you don't attend customs, your appointment with the advisor will be canceled. If you don't have the placement test, your advisor will cancel the appointment. Your customs will not be canceled, but your appointment with your advisor will be canceled. And we cannot reschedule. If you miss your appointment with your advisor, if you are not able to attend customs, if you forget, we can't help you with that. You need to go directly to the customs office and reschedule, or you'll need to wait until you get here. With the fee for customs is $35. You will have to pay the $35 up front. You will receive a $20 refund later. And I don't know how that happens. So you'll have to just wait and see because I don't know the bill paying system. This is the only way they're able to charge you actually $15 for this custom session. Okay, moving on to immunizations. This is something that everyone needs to do. So if you do not submit your immunizations, they will drop all of your on-campus classes because you don't meet the requirements to be here on campus. We require having 2 MMR, the mumps, measles, and rubella, and 2 varicella or the chickenpox. So most of you have already received information about this. Health Services is very good and very proactive of sending you the requirements through your MTSU email. We've talked about it in these webinars. You need to have these sent in to Health Services directly. Do not send them to me. I am not a medical person. I don't know. I'm not going to evaluate your vaccination records. The Health Services wants to do this themselves. And if you don't have the vaccination in your home country, you are able to have one shot here. If you get for example, chickenpox seems to be the hardest one to get around the world. You can get one shot here and you need to follow up with a second shot a month later. They will give you a waiver. You can register for classes, you can do everything, register full time. If you miss that second appointment, though, they will drop all of your classes. So you need to make sure if you have no vaccinations and you're getting them both here in the United States, the first shot here and the second shot here, you need to make sure you follow up on the second appointment or they will automatically after 30 days drop your on-campus classes. When that happens, you're out of compliance on your CVIS record and our job is to send you home. So this is not guidance, this is required. So if you do not have these, if the vaccinations, and if you do not make arrangements with Health Services, you have an internal hold that will stop you from registering full time. You will only be able to register for 11.99 hours. So that last class will not go on your schedule because you have not resolved your immunization hold. I cannot take off that hold. Only Health Services can take that hold. So this is something it's easily forgotten, but very, very important that you get this taken care of. So start thinking now about your vaccinations. Can I get it in my home country? Can I not get it? Do I need to make arrangements with Health Services to get this taken care of as soon as I arrive on campus? So make sure you think about this before you get here. This is one of the things that sends students scrambling around campus the first week of classes of getting this taken care of. So it can be quite stressful with everything else you're trying to do on that first week. Okay, again, your immunizations records are sent directly to Health Services. They do have a portal on the Health Services homepage. They have a section just for our international students. You can access the portal and upload your documents. If you do not have your student account set up, you will not be able to access the portal. If you have not been accepted, you cannot access the portal. So you need to get your student account set up first. Health Services will look at your records, they will evaluate your records, and through that portal, they will let you know if you're good to go or if you still need the immunizations again. So some countries give these immunizations early, but you may need a booster because you're over the age of 16 or you got it before a certain age. They have their own parameters that they know, and they will require you to get those checked out, and they may actually require you to the vaccinations again based on their requirements that they have for the state of Tennessee. And every state is different. Okay, housing. We had a housing webinar a while back. Housing currently is waitlisted. So if you submit your application right now, it's going to go on the wait list. The housing department will contact you when your name comes up and they have a room available for you. Before this happens, you need to know your next step. So housing has a couple of things that they need you to do. They need you to have your fee payment, your prepayment. They need to have that ready. You need to have your meningitis. If you want to get housing on campus, you have to have proof of meningitis. They will not let you go in and get into the dorm until you have this. They literally will not let you in the dorm. It's not one of these things that, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. They will not let you check in. You will stay in a hotel until you have this taken care of. The original and notarized financial guarantor form, this must be hard copy. They do not accept it by email or electronic. So you need to have all of these things ready when your name comes up. You need to have these ready to go. So you can send your payment, you can send your meningitis, and you can send that form to them by EUPS or FedEx. Do not use the US Mail Postal Service. Use FedEx or UPS, send it directly to housing. Do not send it to our office, send it directly to housing. There is an address on the housing homepage that you can send that form to. Go to the homepage. They have a wealth of information on the homepage for housing. They tell you what to bring. They give you the dates you can move in. You can see pictures of what the room will look like. They will have diagrams of what it will look like. Some of the furniture you can arrange, some of it you cannot. They will give you a really good idea of what to expect from housing on the website. So it's up to you to go find this information. Okay, so we're going to do a little review before we move on to the next step. Make sure that you know all of the requirements to join and to enter the United States. So you need to have your visa, you need to have your I-20 and your passport. That I-20 needs to stay in your carry-on bag. It does not go in your checked bag. You will need it at Border Patrol when you cross the border into the United States. So make sure you have it with you in the airplane, not under the airplane. Consider getting vaccinated against COVID. We do not require this. At any moment, there could be another pandemic. We may or may not have time to give you the information. So it's always good to make sure you're checking the airline requirements of getting you onto the airplane. Your passport needs to be valid for 6 months into the future. If it isn't, you will need to get that. They may or may not let you board the plane. Have a copy. When you get a copy of your visa, some of you are telling me you've gotten your visa. When you get it, you have your passport, send us a copy of the visa. If you have been awarded the scholarship, and if you have not, there's a few of you that has not been sent. If your GPA meets the requirement, you will send a form. Return that form to us. The date you return the form will determine whether you get the scholarship or not. Again, if you have any questions, please email our office. We are not answering specific questions on the webinar. So I'm going to say that out front. International orientation, this is required of all international students coming here on an F visa or a J visa. We will talk about the J students and their requirements. They are parallel to the F students, but F students, we are required by SEVIS to give you an orientation, letting you know all of the things you must follow, what you can and cannot do when you're an F1 visa holder. So this is required. We put a hold on your account that if you don't do this, either one of these 2 dates, you will not be able to make any changes to your schedule after August 20th. So we're having 2 dates, both of them are virtual. August 7th is very early, so you can do that one, get it cleared off your schedule, get the hold taken off. You don't need to worry about it any longer. So with this orientation, we're going to talk about the F1 regulations, the schedule requirements. We're going to talk about that in one of the other webinars. So the visa interview webinar, we'll talk about that a little bit as well. SEVIS compliance, what you need to do to remain in SEVIS compliance. If you are not in compliance, our job is to send you home. We also talk about employment, where you can work, where you cannot work, and the limitations and regulations regarding employment. We talk about insurance. All our F1 and J students must have insurance while you're in the United States. We require you to purchase the university endorsed insurance. Academic integrity, there's a lot of different definitions of what academic integrity is, plagiarism, cheating, all of those things defined differently around the world. Here in America, we have a very narrow definition of integrity, academic integrity. We have a very narrow definition of plagiarism. It is not allowed. It is an offense that will get you reported to the Office of Student Conduct, and you can be expelled from the university if it's egregious enough. So this is something that we've learned that we have to talk about because of the differences in definition of plagiarism. And so we will also talk about academic integrity on our international orientation. Okay, kind of in a nutshell, I want to go through what undergraduate students need to do and what grad students need to do. A lot of similarities, a few differences. So our undergrad, you remember, have that placement test. You must attend the university customs and you must meet with an academic advisor before you register for classes. And of course, you must follow all of your SEVIS compliance rules. Now, and you must attend international orientation. Our grads do not have the placement tests. They do not have customs, but you may have a departmental orientation you need to attend. So at the grad level, we consider you have been through the undergrad program. You don't need as much guidance. You are capable of finding your own information, either by the website or by your department. So you can reach out to your department and find out the questions that you need. If you're not sure, if you haven't applied, all of the requirements for the grad programs are clearly laid out on the department's homepage. So that is your go-to place for information. Before you arrive and after you arrive, especially at the grad level, you should be capable of finding this information out on your own. And so we do less hand-holding at the grad level, more of go to the website and find this out, reach out to your department and find that answer. We're not going to give you the answers. Okay, you may or may not have an assistantship. Only at the grad level this happens. You, of course, must follow all SEVIS compliance rules. And if you have a question at any time throughout the 4 or 2 years, please do not rely on your friends. Do not rely on someone at another university. Come to our office and get the answer for MTSU. Okay, do not rely on a friend. Do not rely on another friend from India at another university, from Nigeria at another university. It will not get you very far with any of us in the office. You must attend international orientation. Again, the hold is on there for a reason, so we are sure we have told you everything that you need to know. And then we don't get from you 2 years after you arrived, oh, I didn't know I needed to do that. Not an excuse. We expect you to understand this. And we also tell you, you have a question. If you didn't know, you need to come to us. The one thing I will say for grad and undergrad, you have 2 different areas of your education here. You have your academic area. You also have your immigration area. The academic advisor does not know immigration rules. They're not supposed to know the immigration rules. We, as immigration advisors, do not know your academic standards. Okay, we don't know what courses you're required to take. We don't know what electives you're going to be taking. We don't know your core courses. That's your academic advisor. So you cannot expect your academic advisor to know if your F1 I-20 it has expired. They don't know that. They're not supposed to know that. I don't expect them to know that. I expect you to know your requirements for being here as an F1 visa holder. So make sure, I'm going to repeat this many more times, because this is the one common reason a student will give me for having an I-20 that expired. No one told me. My academic advisor didn't tell me I needed to get my I-20 updated. No, they don't have to. That's on you. You're the F1 student. You're responsible. No one else is responsible for your immigration status here in the United States. Okay, a little bit about employment. As an F1 student, you are able to work only on campus while classes are in session, only 20 hours. Well, during semester breaks, and this is a full semester break when classes are not in session, winter and summer, you can go up to 40 hours. This is immigration allows you to do this, whether a department or the university has another limit. We honor their limit. F1 visa holders may not work off campus. You may not work off campus after 1 year of F1 status. That is I want to say a myth. The only thing you can do after 1 year is get permission to do OPT or CPT. I'm not going to go into any more detail about OPT or CPT. That's for another whole webinar. We'll talk about that when we do our international orientation. If you want to know, every semester we have an OPT CPT webinar. Join the webinar, research it. Neither one of them, both of those require permission from our office. Graduate assistantships, of course, as the name implies, is only for our graduate students. It is the departments issue these. We do not give graduate assistantships in our office. The graduate college monitors all the assistantships. Sometimes the department will offer you. Sometimes you have to ask. Sometimes you have to wait until the current graduate assistant is graduating and then that position opens up. They are not guaranteed. They are extremely hard to come by. They are very, very competitive. And so you need to be very proactive, very patient in waiting for an assistantship to come up. Be polite. Again, it is an honor to get an assistantship. It is not required. It is not expected. And so part of your funding, we do not account for an assistantship unless you have been granted assistantship, then we will count that as part of your finances. If you're waiting to send your finances to see if you get an assistantship, then we cannot send the I-20. As simple as that. If you have a full assistantship, you are expected to work 20 hours a week. Each assistantship will have the number of hours you're required to take, the working hours. Do you need to teach? Do you need to not? What are your responsibilities? Our departments know you can work no more than 20 hours. We do have what we call part-time or half assistantships. They generally, then half of the tuition is paid for. Now, when we say this, and for the assistantship, some of you are on the call are questioning our calculation of the assistantships and the value. We do not take the total cost of attendance on the left-hand side of the I-20. We're taking only the tuition cost. No housing, no insurance is included in the cost of the value of the assistantship. If you have an assistantship, you will not be given the International Merit Scholarship. You must choose one or the other. Okay, this is up to you of which one you choose. All right, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to get a few more slides. So webinars, join the webinars, especially if you're an undergraduate student. This is where you're going to get your information. It's very difficult for us to write an individual email to every student when you come up with a question. So I will refer you to the webinar. This webinar has everything you need to know from your point of getting admitted to what you need to do to be here in August. English survey, placement tests, customs, international orientation, vaccinations, and preparing to travel to the United States, making sure you have all the documents you need to enter the United States. Okay? Upcoming webinars. We have one on the 11th, next Tuesday, where we're going to talk about student services. We're going to talk about the Writing Center. We're going to talk about the Tutoring Center. We're going to talk about Student Success Center, the Rec Center, Health Services, all of those facilities and vendors here on campus that their sole purpose is to be here for you and to help you succeed as an MTSU student. We're going to do the next step on 21st, and yes, the 21st of June. I think that may be wrong. I think that may be the visa interview, and next steps may be July. I think. I believe Toy, Felicia, and John are going to be handling this one, but I believe it's the visa interview. And then the 25th is an important one. We're going to talk about culture shock. Okay, why do they do what they do? Americans, we have a lot of really strange habits. There are things that are very appropriate in your culture that in America it can be considered rude. And so we're going to talk about these things based on years of experience of what professors are telling us of problem behavior they see in our students. Not that your problem students is problem because we don't understand the differences in culture. Some of us have lived abroad, some of us has visited abroad. If you have lived abroad for an extended period of time, you come back to America and you have, wow, we are really weird people. I had that very same experience. There are still many American things that Americans do that I find very unacceptable because I spent quite a few years living in Japan. So this is something that's always one of my favorite topics. I'm thinking July 5th is going to be our next step. Getting you again, following up on that upcoming the custom sessions. July 9th, we're going to redo our trivia. I'm going to do a lot of research on secrets the university has. I have one new one, but I also have a new source. So we're going to do a little campus tour, introduce you to the buildings, what's going on campus. We have a lot of construction happening on campus. So when you join us, we'll be having a lot of constructions. 2 buildings are offline and they're going to be redone. It's going to take 2 years. So most of your time here will be navigating the construction and not going down certain sidewalks because they're blocked off. And so that's always a good thing to know. The other thing I want to talk about is the airport pickup. We have our dates for airport pickup. These are the only dates that we're doing airport pickup. The first one is going to be Sunday, August 18th. We're going to be at the airport at around 2 p.m. And again, we will wait a little bit for people who are coming in. So we're asking you to let us know if you're expecting to be words are hard, brought back to the university from the airport on one of these 2 days. You need to let us know that you're hoping to take the shuttle back to the university. We cannot wait for 2 or 3 hours. The parking will not allow us to do this. So we're expecting to be there around 2 p.m. So let us know if you're arriving at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're going to have to find a place to wait until we get there. If you're arriving on the 17th, late at night, you're going to need to arrange to get a hotel to be here back at the airport at 2 o'clock on the 18th. If you're arriving on the 19th, you're going to have to get an Uber down to the university. And if you have your phone, you can use the Uber app very easily. The airport has Wi-Fi, so make sure you schedule your Uber before you leave the airport Wi-Fi. And Nashville Airport has a beautiful Uber area. They will tell you which number to go stand by, and your Uber driver will come up to that number and pick you up. It is very, very convenient. It is a short walk from the airport. So it is very, very nice. So make sure that you have made arrangements. If you are arriving on Saturday, the 24th, this is just before classes start. So this one, again, same thing. If you're arriving on the 23rd late at night, make a hotel reservation, be back at the airport at 2 o'clock. On the 24th, if you're arriving on the 25th on Monday, on Sunday, then you need to find your own way down. If you are coming in any other day, you need to get an Uber down to the airport if you don't have a friend who can pick you up. I will often Uber down to the airport, especially if I'm out of the country for a long time because parking is too expensive, then I will Uber back and forth to the airport. So it is very convenient to do that. It's about a 40-minute ride from the airport to the campus. All right, so that is all that I have. It's been long enough. We've been talking for an hour. We're going to take questions in the chat. I am just going to say right now, anything that is, I don't have my I-20, I haven't been admitted, it's taking too long, I'm not going to address. All right, all of those questions will be addressed individually. It may be we don't have all of the documents. It could be we have your bank statement, I have your passport, I do not have the attestation. All three documents need to be here for the I-20. If I have all your documents are here and you haven't been admitted, I'm asking for a lot of grace. We are getting that. We're getting there. We're getting people staffed. We're getting them trained, but it's taking some time. Okay, first question. What is the date of the international orientation? I believe they were August 7th and August 20th. Both are virtual. Okay, both are going to be. So we will be sending out links to these two webinars that are required. What is the format of the placement test and how many questions and what the time duration? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know because I don't take the placement test. They do not let us as staff take the practice placement test. I honestly, I don't know. I'm not even going to venture a guess. I don't know. Okay, when will the GA portal be open? The GA portal, there is no portal. There is an application on the graduate website. You need to complete an application, and that puts you in the pool for an assistantship. I have a question. I was awarded a GA ship. Do I have to live on campus as a requirement? I've asked because I haven't received an email from the housing department and I sent an application. Okay, I don't know. If you, I don't think there's no requirement that I'm aware of requiring you to live on campus if you have an assistantship. I would venture to say most of our grads do not live on campus. If you sent an email to the housing department, I would give them more time. If you are looking to get housing, you need to send an application. I can't answer for them answering their email, but this is a really busy time. You would think that summer is, oh, it's really easy. It's actually one of our busiest times because we're dealing with students coming into campus. Our students are going home. Our students have graduated, and so we have a lot going on in the summer. It's actually one of our busiest times. What are the documents that need as an undergraduate who has no visa at the moment? So if you don't have a visa, I'm presuming that you have been admitted to the university. You should have received an email from our office telling you the documents we need for you to submit in order to give you the I-20. The I-20 is what you need to book a visa appointment. If you've got the I-20 and you're just waiting for the visa appointment, at this point, you can start making plans with the placement test, the English survey, those steps. Because if you take the placement test for, let's say, for fall, and then if you don't get a visa or you get denied the visa, you can defer that. You can still take that same placement test, will count for spring. So it's up to you whether you want to continue on the steps or you want to wait until you get the visa. That's up to you. Okay, so I think I just answered that question. If you get your visa is denied or you are not able to get an appointment, you can use the placement test you take now for spring 25. Okay, does orientation week start on August 26th or the start before? August, I believe on the 19th is orientation week. The 19th to the 23rd or 4th, I want to say, is orientation week. The classes start on the 26th. So I would suggest you be here in the country on the week of orientation week. I believe Wednesday or so is around the day you're able to get into the dorms if you have housing verified. They will let you in early if you pay a little extra for the days you're going to be in before the move-in day. But if you want to be comfortable and you want to be less stressed the first week of classes, get here the week before so you can get settled in your housing. You can get everything you need. You get the campus, you know us, you know what to do. Do that before classes start, or you're going to be doing all of your acclimating and getting ready to study all at the same time. I received a scholarship. When will I get it? The scholarship will not feed through until we have verified you are in the country. So we need visas. Nothing right now because we're still in the middle of our summer semester. Very little is going to happen until probably July, mid-July. And so if you're looking on your pipeline and you're not seeing your scholarship, it's because we haven't fed those through because we're still in the midst of summer session. No bill payment is required until August. And so even if you register for class very soon, you will not need to pay anything until August. So the whole fee payment depends on when you register for classes. So the scholarship will be there. If you've returned the form to us and it's already, then you're probably going to be fine. But it will not show on your pipeline account for a while yet. Okay, I need an assistantship. I contacted my department. A link was sent for me to apply, which I did. However, I haven't heard anything. Again, goes directly to the grad school. We don't have any input on assistantships around campus. It's up to the departments. I'm thinking at this point, a lot of assistantships have already been filled. And you may need I would say, I would keep asking periodically. Do not be a nuisance to the department. It's not something that you need to email every day or multiple times a day. You need to make sure that you are polite when you're emailing, but just periodically reach out and say, is it open? Do you have another opening? Because they might have promised the assistantship to someone who is not able to get a visa. That assistantship will now open up. So it's something to be proactive, but without being bothersome about. Is it a possibility of getting waived for the placement test? If you are an F1 student, you are a transfer student with the 2 required courses, or you have SAT or ACT. The only way to get waived from the placement test. And that's on a case-by-case basis. If you do not have SAT and you are coming as a freshman, my guess is no, you're not going to get it waived. Can I have clarification on the housing? Do I need to pay the $350 before I submit the registration form or after I am contacted? I'm going to say I'm pretty sure it's after you're contacted. So the wait list just puts you on the wait list. When they are ready and they have a room available, they will contact you, and you need to have all this ready, because let's say they contact you on Monday and you don't answer them for 10 days, they will have moved on to the next person online. So you don't pay the fee until after you've been contacted, but all of these next steps have to happen very quickly, or they will move on to the next person. If I give my placement test today, can I attend the virtual session on June 10th? I would get it done now, because they have to have a chance to get it through the system, get the grades to the advisors. So do it today if you can. But I can't guarantee that the advisor is going to get it by Monday because it's already Friday and customs is on Monday. I'm not receiving any emails. I have not received an email about my webinar either, but I received the I-20 form. Okay, then I would check to make sure that your email is correct, because we take the email that you give us on the application is the one that we're using. If you received your I-20 from your MTSU, that would tell me that your personal email is probably incorrect in our system, which is why you're not getting the emails. But do not put your emails in the chat, please, your M numbers, because this chat goes out as recorded. And so we don't want to put M numbers in the chat. Email us directly with your M number. Can I defer my admissions till spring 25? Yes, you can. You're just going to send us an email that you want to defer and tell us specifically what semester. I would like to defer my admissions to spring 2025, please. We will probably not be processing those yet because we are still getting our incoming students. We put those on hold, and after the start of the semester, we will process students for a deferral from fall to spring. Okay, the move-in date, I'm going to ask you to go out to the website on housing. They have a calendar. It says important dates. Go there and find out. When is the move-in date? Can you pay your tuition ahead of August? Only if you registered for classes. If you have not registered for classes, you have no tuition bill generated. I want to know if a month bank statement from a sponsor is enough. Okay, if you want a bank statement, you need $36,500. It's probably 1 month's salary may not be enough. If we show the ending balance is 36,500 and the bank statement is less than 6 months owed, that would be good enough for the I-20. And that attestation is your promise that you will pay for classes when you get here. That's why we insist on that financial affidavit being signed and sent back before we issue the I-20. I need that promise that you will continue to pay for classes. I'm an Indian student coming for graduate. Yes, I'm going to go out to the Instagram. Our Indian Association, Student Indian Association, is very, very, very active. And they do have a very active Instagram account. So search for their Instagram account and contact them through their Instagram account. They are very active. They have a lot of activities throughout the year. So I'm recommending you go out to their Instagram account. Okay, do doctoral students need the placement test? I'm sure I said this multiple times. They do not. The placement test is only for the undergraduate students. And again, next question. Graduate students do not need to take the placement test. It's only for our undergraduate students. I've completed a master's in construction engineering management. I applied for a master's in engineering management, received an acceptance letter for engineering management. However, okay. On your DS-160, you're going to put your major. Okay, if your major is engineering management, then that's what you want to put on your DS-160. The I-20, again, we have a letter for you to explain very briefly. If you are on the call and you have this strange anomaly with your I-20 name of the major and your acceptance letter name of the major, their professional science is probably what I'm thinking is engineering management is your concentration, not your major. Professional science is your major. And so at MTSU, when we have a concentration that isn't a major, then we put it under professional science in the state of Tennessee. And that has that number. There's a SIP code. Okay, the SIP code is what's important. The SIP code, when we plug that same SIP code into CVIS, it comes out as biomedical biological sciences. This number is the same. The name is different. It's the same major. And what we need to use when we issue the I-20, we only issue the I-20 using a SIP code that the state of Tennessee has approved for MTSU. So our concentrations match what the state of Tennessee has assigned. So your concentration is engineering management. Your major is professional science. And so on your DS-160, you can put professional science dash engineering management. Then you need to be able to explain at the visa interview, this is what's happening. We have a letter that explains it. Toya is an expert at following through, putting screenshots in an email, explaining how this happens. It has to do with the name in 2 different databases that both run by the government, one for the state of Tennessee, one for the federal government, that have not changed the names in their databases. And they probably won't. So this is something we're going to have to live with. So we do have an explanation. The number, the SIP code is what's important. The name is not so important. Okay. And I'm being considered for a graduate assistantship. Haven't heard. You're going to have to reach out to the department. We do not have any influence on the department and whether they award an assistantship or not. What should I do if I haven't taken the official English test like the IELTS as an undergrad? Okay, if we haven't required it, then it could be you're one of the countries where English is one of the official languages. We do not require the English proficiency if English is one of the official languages in your country. And so Nigeria, we do not. The Bahamas, we do not. India, we do not require English proficiency. And so there are many countries where we don't ask for it. I have changed my course. If you're an undergrad, you need to give us time. If it's a grad, you need to do the change of program form. That has to go through the departments again. It's like getting readmitted to a new department if you're in a grad. It's not as simple as changing your major. If it's at the undergrad and you've sent it to international, I haven't gotten to it yet. When will you get your admissions letter? Probably when we have all of the documents that we need and we've processed your application. I can't tell just by looking at your name. Again, I can't tell just by looking at your name. At the graduate level, let me say this. If your portal says pending, then it's with the department. If your portal says missing documents, then you need to see what needs to be uploaded. If you have uploaded everything, and again, you've uploaded the proper documents, it has everything that's needed, then you need to wait for the portal itself to be uploaded. I am sure I've mentioned before, we are in this weird area right now where we're changing the application software. So if our old application software is glitchy, if there's a delay in updating the portal, nobody's going to fix it because we're so close to getting new software. We're all concentrating on getting that new system up and running. And so we're asking for a lot of patience. If you want to reach out to International Grad, if you're a grad, and just ask, what's going on, we can do a quick check. But first of all, check your portal and see if there isn't a document that you have not submitted. Check your email to make sure we haven't already asked you for that particular document. Okay, follow up. So yes, the closing balance is more than 40,000. Okay. No, I don't have a particular number of months that we need. We need the ending balance to show a minimum $36,500 if you don't have any dependents. That's what we need. And we will follow up if we need more. If you indicated you have a spouse or children, we will follow up saying you will need more. Great. Matthew's put in there the Instagram. So again, some of you guys are young, you are savvy. You can find an Instagram account probably better than I can. So try to solve some of these problems and get this information on your own. Okay, can I select a subject after I get the visa in August? Depends. If you are an undergraduate coming on an F1 visa, we cannot issue an I-20 unless you have given us a major. Okay, it's clear and simple. We can't issue an I-20 unless you have declared a major. So F1 students cannot have academic focus or non-degree seeking. Only J's can have the non-degree seeking category. So I can't really answer that until I know more about your case. So that's a question you need to email us about. When should you travel to the United States? That's up to you. If you're coming early, you need to have housing arrangements. If you have that, come as however long you think you need to get acclimated, get yourself settled, get yourself ready to start classes. Some students come in a week ahead. Some come in the day before. You know yourself better than I do. I recommend coming in for orientation week. As an undergrad, some of those workshops that we have scheduled are very, very important to putting you on a path of success here at the university. While filling out the virtual proctoring checklist, I'm getting asked about what was the person you needed to, Laura. Go to Laura, L-A-R-A. She is she's our contact person. Okay? No more questions? Okay, if it's graduate student orientation, international orientation, you need to take the same with everybody else. If it's a departmental orientation, I don't know, you need to reach out to your department. They have their own orientations. We don't handle that. That's between you and your department. Okay, again, first place you're going to do is check your email. You're going to look at the website for your questions. If you're asking about vaccination, go to the website. You have a question about housing first, go to the website. If you're a grad and you're not sure with your department, check with your department. They know better than we do. Okay. We're going to stop it now. The next one, I believe, Tuesday, correct, Matthew? My brain is done.
Yes. Yes,
okay.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday Student Services, so join us for that one. We're going to give you everything that you need to be successful here on campus. There's a lot of services, a lot of facilities that are here ready to help you. All right, with that, I'm going to sign off. But before we go, everybody's still on the call. Can the people from our office introduce? Matthew, can you introduce yourself? I don't know if you get the same order as I've got. I should have done this at the beginning, but I wanted to get started. Let's introduce ourselves so people know who we are. Matthew, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Matthew Wells. I'm the coordinator for communications and events.
Okay, Victoria.
Hi, yes, my name is Victoria. I'm the transcript analyst.
And she's in her first week.
Yes, I'm very new. I'm training. So
Felicia.
I am admissions analyst. I'm primarily working with graduate students.
Toy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Toy Scott. I'm the one who primarily issues your I-20s and communicates with you regarding the documents that are requisite for that I-20 to be issued.
And John.
My name is John Swafford. I'm the Associate Director of International Enrollment Management.
Okay, so you will be receiving emails from all of us. And when you come, we will all be checking you in and welcoming you to MTSU. Okay, one more question. For visa purposes, can I say I have a Ghanaian visa application in the UK since I've been doing this one? Okay, you can say that. I can't respond because it's a specific question. Well, unless it's just a comment, I'm not sure. All right, so we're going to sign off. Thank you all for joining us. Please do join us the next webinar so you get all this information and you can come and welcome us. I can't find my thing. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a great day, great evening, whatever is the case may be for you.